You're listening to Between the Fountains, a Kansas City Royals baseball podcast.
Welcome to episode 2 of Between the Fountains, the Kansas City Royals podcast. It's March the 29th. This is, what is it, home opener eve? Can you call it that?
Home opener eve. Absolutely.
I just called it that. Yep. I'm Bryan. That's Michael. We've been friends for over 40 years and Royals fans since we could walk. We break down the Royals from all angles, and we give you our honest opinions of the highs and lows each week of the Kansas City Royals season. Tonight on the show, our topics are, as a Royals fan, what are the 3 things that you're most worried about as we start the season? Our second segment is going to be what we're going to call, it's a new segment. It's going to be called the Q Corner. After Matt Quatraro, our manager, this gives Michael a chance to critique his work, which he does often to me through via text and vocal. Is it fair to say, not the biggest fan of Q? But we can see
That's
what he
fair.
thinks. We can see what he thinks about how Q is handling the team. And in our final segment, Michael's not just a Royals expert. He has spent some quality time umpiring at a very high level in baseball, and we're going to hear what he has to say about that and about his opinion about the new ABS system, which I keep calling the OBS system. Anyway,
Close enough.
Automatic balls and strikes, and we'll see what Mike thinks about that. So if you're new to the show, our goal here is to provide you a unique forum for Royals fans to hear what we think, but we also want to hear from you. Right now, you can leave a comment here on our YouTube channel in the comments section, and we'll do our best to address your concerns. We appreciate it also if you'd subscribe to the channel and click the notifications button so that you'll know when we have another show available. We hope to try to do this every Sunday night throughout the season. Michael, do you have a word from our sponsor tonight?
Yes, our sponsor is Bordner Home Improvement. For all of your roofing and home improvement needs, call Bordner Roofing. You can Google them. They're located in Raytown, Missouri. Again, Bordner Home Improvement for all your home improvement and roofing needs. You can reach out to Brian Straley right there at Bordner.
Thank you for our sponsor. All right, so let's get right into it here. Our first topic tonight. So, Michael, what are the 3 things that concern you the most at this point in the season? At this point, we are 1-2. We could have probably been. Yes, we went
Big
into the 9th inning with a lead. That may be one of your concerns right there, by the way. But
That will be.
Let's hear what your top 3 concerns are at this point. What are you most worried about?
The game Saturday. So Junior is at second base. Ball is hit toward the first baseman. So at a very young age, I can remember coaching my son and his team that when the ball's hit to the right side, you're going to third. It's pretty much basic. So that is bad baseball. And I did listen to 610 Josh Verner last night, and his words, not mine, were that was bad baseball. So we saw that all last year. We kind of thought that the Royals might work on that in spring training this year extensively. Apparently they didn't. We cannot continue that base running and expect to be in the playoffs, which were my exact words on Josh's show day before Memorial Day last year. When we were making some base running blunders, I said, there's no way we can make the playoffs if we continue this. And we did. So that's huge out of the gate. Base running has not improved.
Okay. That's number 1. Okay, what's number 2?
Game management. I disagree with Haas on TV today. Isbell absolutely has to be bunting in that situation with the guy on second and no outs. We talked about his WAR last week, estimated, projected, I think 1.3, career, 242 hitter.
Right.
He has got to move the runner over. I don't care, 3rd inning, 1st inning. Obviously, it's not going to be up most likely his 1st inning, but that's just a no-brainer there. I disagree with Haas, not too early in the game.
What did Haas say? I didn't hear that part of it.
He said, this stage of the game early on, maybe the hitter has a feel for the pitcher and he thinks he can drive the ball. No, Isbell's not a drive the ball type hitter. He's not a power hitter, gap hitter type. So I disagree with Haas on that. Haas is doing a great job, I think. I'm missing the man HUD and his excitement for the game. So missing HUD, I'm not quite sure where he's at. So number 2 is game management. Quatraro's got to call a bunt on that play. Didn't cost us the game, but he didn't score. He didn't get him over. He popped up. So, and then thirdly, and we all know that this is going to be a conversation today, is Mr. Estevez. So Mr. Quatraro's exact comments were we had hoped that he would be ready by opening day or opening weekend, right? So, throwing 91, 92, I think he pitched a smidgen in the World Classic. And then, of course, with us in spring training, I just don't think, or I know it's not a thinking about it. You can't put him in a high leverage situation yet. When we have the talent we have on this team, expected to be in the playoffs like last year, you put him in Friday to see, hey, does he have it back yet? You put him in when we're down, like we were 6-0 or whatever Friday. You don't put him in a 2-0 game. So those are the 3: base running, game management, use of Estevez. Really a head scratcher bringing him in at a high leverage situation with his past here with spring training. Not good.
Right. I did happen to look up Estevez's StatCast numbers. Would you believe last year his four-seam fastball, according to StatCast, averaged 95.9 miles per hour average. In Saturday's game, it was 91.2.
Yeah, he was just throwing meatballs.
I mean, that was pretty much the story of spring training is he ramping up? And they say, well, he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. But he's either hurt or he's lost it. One of the two. And I guess he got hit in the leg, too, so that's not going to help him.
I think the foot, I think he had a boot on.
Yeah.
We'll see. To be continued. Stay tuned on Estevez, right?
Did you see Urseg close out the game today? I know it wasn't a save situation, but...
Yeah, I like Urseg in 7th, 8th inning. I think Strom has a more closer mentality. I would have rather been flip-flopped there with those two.
Right.
I think Strom's our closer, not Urseg, but Urseg did a good job.
I think they can both be closers. I think it's going to be a committee situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Shriver can close too, can he? Didn't Shriver close once or twice?
Got a bulldog mentality. I actually thought about him today too. I said, bring in Shriver. Right. But the committee would be great. I think I spoke too soon about Cruz, bragging on him because apparently he gave up a walk-off for Omaha last time, and he had super good stuff last year. Right. And that's going to happen. But committee would be good. That's a great idea.
All right. Let's move to number 2 here, and we're going to call this the Q Corner until further notice. Do you like that title, by the way, for this segment? This is a regular segment. This is like serving cake to you, you get all happy about it and all that, because I hear this all year long about the Q. First thing I would like to ask you about, the opening day lineup, not the opening day, but the first game. He has...
he didn't have Biggio in there.
No, he couldn't put him in there.
No, not on the roster.
No, there was some questionable lineup decisions. I'll just leave it at that. So to start off the Q Corner, what was he thinking about putting Lane Thomas in at the 3-hole in that lineup? I know you had Chris Sale on the mound, and that you're going to have a different lineup looking when you have someone like Chris Sale on the mound.
Right. Well, you could defer to our fact-checking department, but I believe, and wasn't a big fan of putting Thomas in a 3-hole, but I think he's batting .291 against lefties career. His career numbers, I think, are .291, so that's good, right? It's way better than, putting, I don't think Starling Marte is probably batting that high against left-handers. So we don't have options. So against the lefty like Sale, to me, it's kind of a, what the heck, put him in there. Put Thomas in there. It's not a big issue because we don't have any options. We didn't acquire that, big hitting outfielder that we wanted to over the off season. It never happened. JJ apparently just didn't feel like pushing hard enough. I don't know. So I'm okay with putting Thomas there because there's really no other option.
The other thing I noticed is he put Carter Jensen in the lineup, a left-handed batter, rookie. Well, and he put him in the 9-hole, but still, that's a tough ask to go up against Chris Sale and, basically your rookie season. Would you agree?
Right. I agree totally. I think he did decent against left-handers with his small cup of coffee
60 at bat.
call-up
Yeah.
last year.
Right.
So, ninth hole, I'm not opposed to that because he's such a good hitter, even though, he's young, but we could see that already that he's going to be super good. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
So it's a confidence booster, you think, a little bit for him as well, looking, because he had to have been a little surprised that he was in the lineup against Chris Sale, don't you think?
Well, absolutely. And I think
Right.
probably a confidence booster. And I can't remember what he did yesterday, but he comes out
He
and
had a nice day
hits a
today.
clutch home run today.
Right.
So there you
And he
go.
got another RBI too, I think, didn't he? Didn't he have a
I think
RBI later?
so. And
Right.
again, it's about options, but we just don't have a lot. So he's got
Right.
to do something. So
You're not going to put Vinny in the 3-hole against Chris Sale, probably, right? Because that would be your
probably
other.
not. Yeah,
Right.
probably not a good idea. I mean, you have limited options. I can't really fault. I would like to fault Mr. Quatraro on that, but I can't
Right.
really fault him on that. Yeah.
So he gets a pass so
He gets a
far?
pass.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, stay tuned because it could go downhill quick for Q.
Mhm.
Anyway, our third segment tonight. Michael is a very accomplished umpire. Would you like to share with our 14 fans that how you started in umpiring, how what level did you get to in umpiring, and anything else you want to talk about?
Sure. Just started at 3-2 baseball in Kansas City and worked my way up to high school at a fairly young age. And then actually in college, I was umpiring NCAA Division II while I was in college. So, and then after college, went to Joe Brinkman Umpire School, Cocoa, Florida. It no longer exists, but it did for a long time. And a lot of major league umpires, I think around 60% actually graduated from the Brinkman School. So, yeah, had super fun umpiring. So it was a great time. I was able to umpire a player by the name of Albert Pujols. Have you ever heard of him when he was at Maple Woods?
Briefly.
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was fun. So I think that's a good segue into enough about
So
me.
you were behind the plate with Pujols at the bat?
You're correct. Yes, I was.
Did he ever look back at you and say, didn't see it that way, Blue, or anything like
I'm
that?
sure
Or
he did. I'm sure
did
he
he?
did.
Did you
Yeah,
ever have to throw anybody out of the game?
multiple times. Yes.
Really?
Actually, the scout that scouted Albert Pujols was Hickman Mills, varsity baseball coach, had to throw him out. And then I remember that. And then at William Chrisman High School's varsity coach threw him out. His own fans clapped when I threw him out. That's pretty
Really?
bad when your own fans are clapping
Yeah.
when you get thrown out. Yeah.
Right. All right. And then your view on the automatic balls and strikes system that they're using this year. I did
Right.
notice, the Royals are doing fairly well, at least Salvi. Here, I got a
Very
quick
well.
question. How can Salvi be so good at recognizing a strike
I
that
know
he was
what's
3 for
coming.
3 and then he swings at balls in the dirt?
3 feet outside, 4 feet
Explain that
outside.
to
I
me.
have no idea. That's shocking, but that's Salvi. He's never met a pitch he hasn't liked. He likes swinging at the ball
I was
3 feet
watching the
and 4
Fox
foot
broadcast
outside.
on Saturday, and they have Wainwright on there as a
Mhm.
color guy, and he said exactly the same thing. He said he can throw it. Salvi will chase everything. I
Oh,
mean,
he
just
will.
everything. But I just don't understand. He's obviously got a good, he can read the strike zone because those were borderline calls, and he got all 3 of them right. I mean, they were
He's phenomenal back there with that. He is
right.
incredible. So Salvi, he's never going to change. We're just going to love him for who he is.
So, do you see the strategy coming into play? Because I think Q have said he's leaving it to the catcher only right now, and we're going to see how this thing works out. At least Ryan Lefevre said that on the first game I listened to. That's what he said his stance was on it, kind of like wait and see type thing. But
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't
obviously, the Braves
understand
don't
that.
use that same theory because Ronald Acuna doesn't seem to understand. He called a challenge in the first freaking inning.
I know. I couldn't believe
And they
it.
only had 1 left.
Yeah,
Explain that
that
to me.
that's unexplainable. So,
Anyway,
I mean, you got to have a plan for that. I don't like Quatraro saying that they were just going to kind of go game by game and kind of feel it out. Well, they've known forever now that this is going to happen. So
right.
you got to have a plan. The game is separated into 3 sections, right? First inning through third, 4 through 6, 7 through 9. So maybe, innings 1 through 3, you got to have 2 guys on base, maybe bases loaded. to be able to challenge and then, increase it in innings 4 through 6. Then if it's just, 2 guys on base, you can challenge. You got to have a plan going into it. So I don't like that, no plan deal. That's just not right. You got to have a plan. But hopefully they will put together one like that. And again, so far so good with Salvi behind the plate. And I don't see Carter Jensen challenging too many strikes back there, but we'll see what happens with him. Maybe he can learn from Salvi.
Yeah, well, Salvi's got to figure it out. So
He does early on.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up for this week Between the Fountains. We want to thank you for joining us. And we will be back next Sunday night. And hopefully the Royals are, 8-2, something like that. Anyway,
the Twins, they don't have very good bullpen. There's no depth there. So we should be able to take this series. We'll see. Go Royals. We'll be out there, won't we?
And we will. All right. See ya. Have a good one.
Thank you, everybody.